Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into Atalanta's final push this season.
Yeah, we're looking closely at that Monza win and, crucially, the huge game coming up against Roma.
And we've got some great material to work with, recent audio clips from wingback Raul Bellanova and, of course, the coach, Piero Gasperini.
Right. Our mission here is to try and get inside their heads a bit, understand the reaction to Monza, maybe some regrets looking back, and how they're really prepping for Roma.
Okay, let's dive straight in with Raul Bellanova. His take on that, well, pretty emphatic 4-0 win against Monza. He didn't hold back about their mindset, did he?
No, not at all. He immediately said, how important that game was, especially after dropping points against Lecce, which clearly annoyed them.
Annoyed seems like an understatement, maybe. He used the word rabia.
Exactly, rabia, that sort of anger or frustration. It sounds like they were really determined to use that feeling against Monza, not just win, but make a statement.
And they certainly did that. 2 goals pretty quickly. Bellanova mentioned how that changes things for the other team psychologically.
Yeah, puts them on the back foot immediately.
But even after winning 4-0, he was careful to say, look, that Champions League spot, it's not mathematically ours yet.
Which shows good awareness, doesn't it? They're keeping their feet on the ground. No premature celebrations.
What I found really interesting, though, was him looking back over the whole season.
Ah, yes, the regrets.
He actually said the drop points at home against teams maybe lower down the table felt like a bigger miss than losing to Inter.
That's quite revealing, isn't it? We often focus on those big head-to-head clashes, but for him, it's those unexpected slip-ups.
Why do you think those games can sometimes trip up a top side? Is it complacency, maybe?
Well, it could be a few things. Sometimes expectation plays a part. Against a big rival, you're automatically dialed in. Against the team you're expected to beat. Maybe the intensity dips just a tiny bit. And those points, as he said, they would have done us really well now, maybe put them in an even better league position. It just underlines how vital consistency is.
Yeah.
Every single game.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly to team news. Always crucial this time of year. Bellanova touched on Kossonu's fitness and Isaac Hien being suspended for Roma.
Yeah, he said he'd spoken to Cossonu, sounded hopeful it wasn't serious, which is important with Hien now out.
And he put his own hand up, didn't he? Said he's ready to fill in at defense against Roma if Gasperini needs him to. Mentioned doing it at San Siro before.
That versatility is gold dust for a coach, especially now. Losing Hien, Cossonu, maybe not quite 100%. Having Bellanova as a reliable option there is, well, it's huge. Shows commitment, too.
He also went back to that Monza win, linking it again to the Reggios from Lecce, needing the win.
Yeah, driving them on.
But he also admitted even in a 4-0 win, there were technical mistakes. The main thing, though, was the 3 points and sending a message.
Right, it's that mix, isn't it? Happy with the result, obviously, but still self-critical about the performance. That's a good sign. Keeps him sharp. And wanting to send a message. Maybe a little psychological game with their rivals.
Could be. And he made a good point, too, that even though the score looked comfortable eventually, Monza made it tough initially.
Absolutely. He mentioned the time of year, the heat, teams fighting for survival. They make things really difficult.
Yeah, that desperation factor makes every game unpredictable.
Totally. No easy matches late in the season.
So Bellanova's final words seem to be all about these last 3 games. He used that Italian phrase, stringere i denti.
Gritting their teeth.
Exactly. Just digging in, using every bit of energy they have left until that Champions League place is mathematically theirs.
That sums up the end-of-season mentality perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sheer willpower and endurance. They're close, and they know they just have to push through.
Okay, let's bring in Gasperini now. His focus, unsurprisingly, was very much on this massive game against Roma.
Yeah, he definitely acknowledged its importance. Agreed it could be a match point, as he put it, for the Champions League race.
But he didn't want to put all the focus just on that one game, did he?
No, typical Gasperini. He stressed that every game left is crucial. But yeah, you can tell the Roma one looms large. It's pivotal.
One thing he seemed genuinely pleased about from the Monza game was getting his attackers firing again. Lookman scored. De Ketelaere got 2.
Oh, definitely. He mentioned De Ketelaere specifically acknowledging he'd had a dry spell, and even Loan having maybe dipped a bit after a strong start. Getting those guys scoring consistently again is massive for the run-in.
Take some pressure off the defense, I guess.
Precisely. He knows the defense has been pretty solid, even with injuries, but you need goals to win these tight games. De Ketelaere finding form could be a huge psychological boost, too.
On the defensive side, though, he sounded really quite irritated about Isaac Hien's yellow card, the one that means he misses Roma.
Oh, yeah. He called it pesante da digerire. Really hard to swallow. You could feel his frustration.
Especially given the score at the time, right? And how important Hien is, with Kossunu's situation still a bit uncertain.
Exactly. Losing a key defender for that game, for a booking in a match that they were controlling.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a setback. Forces a rethink against a dangerous Roma attack.
He did give a bit more detail on Cossonu, didn't he? Clarified it wasn't really a new injury.
Right. More the lingering effects of his surgery and being out for a while, affecting his sharpness, basically.
So maybe not fully match fit yet.
Seems like it. Gasperini sounded hopeful that playing time would actually help him get back up to speed, maybe even for the Roma game. It's a bit of a gamble, perhaps. A race against time.
Needs must, I suppose. He also talked about the atmosphere at the Monza game, which was obviously affected by the sad news about the fan.
Yeah, he acknowledged it was a bit strange. Subdued.
And performance-wise, he was happy with the 2 early goals, but felt they maybe lost a bit of focus after that.
Which is quite honest, isn't it? Even leading comfortably, maintaining that absolute peak intensity is tough, especially in those circumstances.
And he really hammered home the need for maximum ferocity to get over the line for the Champions League, especially against Roma, who are flying.
Yeah, that call for ferocia really stands out. He wants that aggressive, relentless mindset, knowing Roma are on, what, an 18-game positive run or something. They're a serious threat.
He also made that interesting comment about maybe the external buzz around their Champions League chase, not quite matching the team's internal intensity. Called it their own fault, almost.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Maybe the players are trying to stay grounded, but Gasperini wants them to visibly feel the size of the opportunity, that burning desire.
He seemed to hope the Roma game itself would provide that extra shot of adrenaline to reach what he called their extraordinary goal.
Makes sense. A huge game, high stakes. That could be exactly what's needed to spark that final level of intensity he's looking for.
He also gave a quick nod to Marco Carnesecchi, the keeper.
Yeah, praising his consistency and focus, even in a 4-0 win where maybe he wasn't tested constantly, shows his professionalism.
Definitely. And looking at the final 3 games, Gasperini used another nice Italian phrase, vento in poppa.
Wind in their sails. Keep the momentum going.
Right. High expectations, focus on points, no getting carried away, everyone pulling together.
That's the message, isn't it? Stay disciplined, work as a unit, finish the job. No time for complacency.
He circled back to the importance of every win now, acknowledged how long and tiring the season's been.
Which it always is for his teams. They put so much in.
And then back again to Roma. He corrected himself, made sure everyone knew it was Monday night, not Sunday, stressed the need for perfect preparation.
Just shows how laser-focused he is on that specific match, getting every detail right.
And finally, he touched on that contrast again. Amazing away form, 39 points on the road, but maybe some points left on the table at home, mentioning some controversial moments, too.
Yeah, it's a slightly strange pattern for their season. Fantastic away, but maybe feeling they could have squeezed even more out of the home games. Something to reflect on, perhaps?
Okay, so wrapping this all up, it seems pretty clear Atalanta are hugely motivated for this Champions League spot. You hear the determination from Bellanova after Monza, that reaction to the Lecce result.
Definitely. And then Gasperini, he's just completely locked in on Roma, knows how big it is, acknowledges the journey so far,
Yeah.
but demands absolute maximum intensity, maximum focus for this final stretch.
Yeah, it's quite compelling, isn't it? You have Bellanova clearly satisfied with a dominant win, which is natural, but then you have Gasperini pushing for even more, for that internal ferocity.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What does that tell us about the mindset you need at the very top level? How important is that relentless internal drive, that constant seeking of improvement compared to just acknowledging a good result?
And how much does that internal fire matter compared to, say, external praise or league position? It's a fascinating dynamic to watch as they head into these final, absolutely crucial games.